Hello and welcome to the New Mindset Podcast. This is Georgie.
And this is Jacob.
How you going, Jacob?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah?
Very good. We are...
Nothing further. Great.
No, well, we'll be honest. We're shooting this at... recording this at 4:50 a.m. Just catching up on a few podcasts before we go to Japan. And, George has had a few hours sleep. I'm running on 0 hours sleep, 0 minutes, 0 seconds, purely because I knew that I wouldn't wake up at, 4 o'clock to do podcasts. So I'm like, I might as well stay up and get some New Mindset socials done. And I think in prep for our accountant tomorrow as well, today, because we haven't had to lodge a tax return because it's like our first year. So I was doing all that boring stuff last night.
Yeah.
Finding receipts from 11 months ago, which was awesome. Good fun. And watching the Olympics at the same time, which was
great.
cool. How are you going?
Yeah, no, good. I'm freshly woken up. I'm fresh as a daisy.
Yeah. Very good. Winston's not happy with us.
No, he's sitting in the corner. He's napping.
His eyebrows are everywhere. He's not happy.
Oh, they're actually nicely done now.
Ah, okay, good.
Yeah.
Very good.
They look good.
Good.
Yeah. Perfect.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about something that you want to talk about and share some of your life experience and some of your personal experience and expertise in the anxiety area. But you've actually titled this really interesting, and I'd like to kind of start with what you think about this title, The Silent Hell That Is Agoraphobia.
Yes.
Yeah, why phrase it like that?
I feel as though agoraphobia doesn't really get spoken about nowhere near as much as a lot of the other things. That I don't like calling them trendy, but you jump on TikTok and there's a lot of things about body dysmorphia or depression right now. Like those are the big things. And narcissism is also a big one. But agoraphobia is sort of something that's just been left behind a little bit because you don't really hear from someone that has agoraphobia for an obvious reasons. But yeah. So it's a silent hell. So you kind of feel as though you're in the battle alone with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it?
What is agoraphobia?
Yeah.
So I've just got a basic definition because it's definitely not my area of not, I wouldn't say interest, but definitely I'm not well studied in agoraphobia yet. It's just my life experience that I've had a little bit to do with it. But agoraphobia is not a disease. It is a learned behaviour. It is basically a fear of places and situations that might cause panic, helplessness, or embarrassment. Essentially, agoraphobia is linked with anxiety that oftentimes develops after several panic attacks. Yeah, so it's basically an evolution of anxiety. It's a learned behaviour.
So when it says several panic attacks, is that in the one situation that then the individual is nervous about engaging in because they know that it will cause the panic attack?
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be several, and it doesn't even have to be a panic attack. It's just I researched basically oftentimes it is on a reaction to a panic attack.
Yeah.
So, if I was to have one in a shopping centre, well, next time I'm going to be on very much high alert going into that same shopping centre. And if something if it was bad enough, then I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
And now we're sort of developing that learned behaviour. Yeah. So it's not a disease because it does get confused, but it's a learned behaviour on the back of anxiety.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you for clarifying.
No, all good. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Cool.
So what are some of the symptoms that you found in your research that relate to agoraphobia?
Yeah, so the obvious one, like people know, is intense fear of leaving your home. This can actually, I was listening to another podcast where this guy was like an expert in agoraphobia, and he said, it can even develop to leaving your one room if it's bad enough, like leaving your bed, extreme isolation, obviously on the back of that. So, if someone was to have, had agoraphobia, then, you can only isolate with people online, really, or if people were to come over, and some people don't even, that's too much of a barrier. Avoidance, obviously, and just a sudden change in behaviour. Because, it can happen to anyone with, debilitating anxiety, a few panic attacks and a panic attack, or it doesn't even have to be a panic attack, like I said. But, you've just got to know the changes of behaviour and the symptoms because it can catch you off guard. Because the brain likes to play the tricks on you of, I'm just keeping you safe here at home, so nothing to worry about, you're all good. And then 6 months, you're like, or even 2 days 2 days later, it's like, I haven't left the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit intense.
Yeah, but your anxiety is saying, oh, no, but you're okay because we're safe.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So is that how someone could fall into that agoraphobia?
100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how else can someone fall into that agoraphobia?
That's a good question. So I researched it as well because I didn't want to, give a half-assed answer.
Yeah.
So giving into your anxiety is a big one. So if you weren't to push through, say if we had a family dinner and I was too anxious to go and I didn't go and I avoided it, well, I've sort of, agoraphobia has got a little bit of a kickstart here potentially in that specific department of your life. So that's one way. Trauma, obviously. Panic disorder, panic attacks. We've already spoken about that. And avoidance of, a place that causes intense fear. Like I said, shopping centre, school, work, university. And yeah, it's so clever. Like I said to you before, it's got your best interest at heart and it wants to convince you that this is normal behaviour and this is how you're safe and I'm going to look after you. But, it takes a little bit of rationalising those thoughts to overcome that wave of potential threat. Yeah, because agoraphobia, like I've said many times with anxiety, it's like building that relationship with anxiety because, anxiety is there, equally to support us if we can manage it well. But agoraphobia, you don't want anything to do with that.
No.
Yeah, that's something that we don't want to, we're not building a relationship with agoraphobia.
No. And that comes as a result. Would you say that could, I guess we're talking hypothetical, but do you guess that could come from that lack of relationship with anxiety?
Yes.
If you let it take over?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Even though it's thinking that it's coming from a good space.
Yeah, so obviously anxiety, the disorder, or just, the emotion, I'm diagnosed with it, you're not, but you still face anxiety, like every other person does. It's just a normal human emotion. But yeah, if your relationship with anxiety is out of balance, 100% agoraphobia is one of the doors that you're going to leave open to potentially experiencing at some point. So it's more so, for someone that has an anxiety disorder is more likely to experience this than someone that doesn't. And then put on a panic attack or two, even more likely.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
So I guess you said that it's not your area of expertise. My apologies. I didn't mean to put those words in your mouth.
That's very Kath and Kim of you.
What do you mean?
In your mouth.
In your mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm working on accent work in drama, so it's just come out randomly now.
Yeah, bruh.
But yeah, so yeah, it's not your area of expertise, but you mentioned that you have a little bit of personal experience in the area of agoraphobia. Were you open to share a little bit?
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course I'm open to sharing this. Yeah, because no one really talks about it because agoraphobia, someone that has agoraphobia or has had it, it sucks. And I'm not saying that I've had agoraphobia. I had, those experiences of, I haven't left the house in a few days. And why? And it's like, okay, now I've got this sudden, massive, fear of this one place. So yeah, mine, what have I written here? I've got, avoiding catching up with friends and family. That was one. I wouldn't see a friend for, over 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And that was quite normal for me though, because we chat a lot online and call and things like that. Plus my social group is pretty small. There's only a few friends that I really see regularly.
Yeah.
I noticed that definitely family, because normally we would see family once a week and then it became, every 2 weeks and then 3 weeks and then, that sort of just driving over there became a little bit terrifying for whatever reason. This was a big one, working from home. So, now that we'll be back in office after COVID, well, still COVID around, but, it's like this is now a big terrifying monster now for me. And exact same thing to do with study. study became working from home. So I sort of, if I'm painting this picture of, everything was from home and everything was convenient for me. So I created basically an environment of least resistance. My anxiety didn't have to worry, and I didn't have to worry, and I was safe. And I sort of got manipulated a little bit by the anxiety because I didn't have that good relationship with it for a little while there.
Yeah.
This all, like, basically we had you were there, had a panic attack, good times in a public area, terrifying. So it sort of, grew off the back of that. So basically my thoughts were, I've been inside because of COVID lockdowns and I'm studying from home, working from home, everything's sweet. I go for my little walk each day, a little bit of sport. But then, when a panic attack hit me in public, it's like told my anxiety. I'm talking from my anxiety here.
Yeah.
My anxiety's like, I told you so. It's a bad place. We can't go here. And then it sort of grew from there.
Yeah.
Nothing like, it sort of played a role over the year, I'd say a year and a half. But it's nothing, but it hasn't been like a serious enough to be called agoraphobia where, I'm at home for 2 months and I'm absolutely terrified of living at home. Like I could do it.
Yeah.
It's just, pushing that boundary. And like I said, if I wasn't to push that boundary, then it would have developed into agoraphobia. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's like what you say about pushing your anxiety to a certain point. Your level 8 was probably a lot lower when the anxiety was so much higher.
Yeah.
Did I English that correctly?
So I'll give it like an example. So my 8 back then was probably, going for a 20-minute walk with Winston. And now my 8 now is like probably going to like the shopping centres and being around there for a few hours. Like we had a wedding meeting the other day. I was there. We were there for like 2 or 3 hours, and I just sat there and I was fine.
Yeah. Prior, was there a little bit of that anxiety build up?
Yeah, there was.
But not as much?
No, definitely not as much. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good.
Yeah, cool.
So it's always like it's always going to improve. Like that 8 will change. On any given day, like yesterday I had a bad anxiety day, so that 8 was walking Winston again, and that's just how it is going to be. Like and then I'll probably go 2 weeks, and that 8 will be the shopping centre. Yeah,
it just ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
with
what's
that's going
fine.
on.
Yeah,
and I guess it's important to just understand and appreciate that pattern of like it will ebb and flow, and don't beat yourself up because I can imagine that people would
definitely,
and you probably have as well.
I think I learned pretty early though that it's just a relationship with anxiety, and anxiety's funny, and you're never going to completely understand it. So you just got to be flexible and keep up the that relationship because you never know what can dictate anxiety or change. You've just got to study yourself basically and be interested in yourself. Yeah, fair.
So I guess from what you were sharing before about your personal experience, kind of saying that working from home, studying from home created that environment where everything was happening from home, what would you say about COVID and its role that it played in that?
Yeah, so I mentioned it a few times with COVID. Just COVID lockdowns.
Yeah,
is what I'll sort of reference. So for me personally, it just provided that environment for agoraphobia to foster itself. And, we sort of had to do that. Like it wasn't a choice. It was there and we had to do it.
we had to stay at home.
Yeah, we had to stay at home.
Yeah.
And my anxiety loved that personally, but it really turned my anxiety into a bloody monster post-COVID. So that's what we're trying to, that's what I've really overcome now. And that was the somatic side of things. So normal anxiety, like, generalized anxiety, I'm pretty sweet with, I've got 15 years with it. But somatic hit me like a truck. But back on COVID. And basically it just fostered that behaviour. And it's so hard to unteach. And especially behaviour. Yeah, and especially like the avoidance behaviour. Because your brain's tricked. Your anxiety's tricked yourself into thinking, we're safe at home. We're safe here. Going out, no good. And
Yeah.
that wasn't even me about getting COVID. I wasn't too concerned. Well, early days, obviously, when we were being told COVID was the worst thing in the entire universe.
Yeah.
I was concerned then, but just normal anxiety of, the unknown.
Yeah.
That's what my biggest fear was, yeah. And I'd say the other thing COVID did, we did an episode on this. I don't know if we've uploaded it yet or not, but about the convenience of technology. And basically it just provides like the perfect recipe for hibernation and agoraphobia.
Yeah.
Ordering food. Now we don't even have to go to Woolworths or, Coles or any shopping centre to grab our food.
University can be delivered online. There's complete like remote work options.
Even like,
FaceTime.
we want to go to Kmart for furniture. Delivered in 12 hours. Cool.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Cool. So, like how, obvious, how could anxiety levels not rise? And because of that, agoraphobia. Yeah.
So true.
Yeah. And it's terrifying because, like, people are still in the midst of, they don't know that, because anxiety is weird. Unless, you've built a good relationship with yourself prior to anxiety hitting, then, anxiety can manipulate you. So some people are in it right now and they don't know. In that, in that, maybe not agoraphobia, I presume that you would know by now,
Yeah.
but definitely anxiety. Yeah.
I guess that hibernation anxiety mode.
Yeah,
If
and
it's
I feel
not
so.
that intense agoraphobia.
Yeah, and a lot of people around me and you have been experiencing panic attacks. And just recently too, like in the last few months. So I don't know if that's got something to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Just
I
interesting.
honestly, I didn't have panic attacks for like 10 years. I had one when I was really young, like 9 or 10. I didn't have one until, 23? Was that when it was? 22, 23?
22.
Yeah, and that sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it was just weird. And like I said, anxiety just grew into like this monster over COVID lockdown because it was a perfect environment for it too.
Yeah.
And how are we to do anything about it?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. When the whole entire world is shut down.
Yeah, like exposure therapy, for me anyway, overcomes anxiety. And, we didn't really have a chance to do exposure therapy.
Yeah. Or to the extent that it would have been beneficial.
Well, like we got like that half-hour walk every day, but by the time you go out half-hour walk, there's no one else out there.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the city was dead because we were in the city at the time. And it was like, okay,
There's no one here.
no one here, so yeah, I'm not even stressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even anxious.
Yeah.
So I was comfortable. That's the word I'm looking for. We were just comfortable all of the time. And maybe not some people, because financially some people really struggled during COVID, but, we were lucky enough to be able to work from home during that time. But yeah, we all became very comfortable, and that is what anxiety loves. Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone was looking to, I guess, step by step overcome their agoraphobia symptoms that they're experiencing, or that hibernation anxiety, what would you, as someone who's kind of worked through it, what would you highlight for someone to look out for?
Yeah, sorry, my mind's like shutting down now.
Yeah.
Because you can see my eyes.
Yeah,
They're
your
just
eyes are gone.
close. And so the first thing that I would do, if you think that, you're, and don't go, Dr. Google, like keep it rational, because anxiety loves to go Dr. Google. But, it can't hurt to reach out to a psychologist, counsellor, anyone in mental health, basically. And seek advice, GP. Because, like, you'd want to know if you've got it, because it's bloody serious. And if you're just more interested in, agoraphobia itself, the Agoraphobia Handbook, if you just search that on Google, that's an awesome resource I had to look at. And if you think that you've got it and, you've had anxiety before and, you've had maybe a bit of agoraphobia before, set yourself up maybe with some exposure therapy. And when I say that, let's keep it, manageable. So, for instance, if you were scared of going to, let's just say, the shopping centre is just a good example. This is just off the cuff, so make it up in your own time and spend some time doing so and create, like a month plan, 2-month plan, whatever you need, but like be nice to yourself. But, maybe you get dressed and ready for the shops first. And it's like, okay, I'm dressed and ready. And then next time you get dressed ready and you hop in the car Okay, and then a few
Yeah.
days later, you dress ready, hop in the car, turn on the car, maybe open the garage. And then, you sort of get my drift where, you eventually, you're able to get in the car, drive to the shopping centre. You don't have to get out, just drive to there. You're comfortable. And this is what I'm talking about. Keep it below that 8 out of 10. Because if you push it, you have a panic attack. Well, you just lose. Like, you're not going to
You
win.
lose all your progress and you
Yeah.
spin out to say, no, I told you you so. This isn't safe. Go back home.
Yeah. So, and obviously I've been there where you run out of patience and you push yourself a little too far. And then it's like, we did it on a walk the other day. We went for an hour walk. And that was one of the bigger ones I've done in recent time because of the somatic. And I pushed it too far and then I snapped at you a little bit. And it was nothing bad. It was like, Georgia, hurry up.
Yeah.
So it was nothing like, major, but it was just, I pushed myself too far and that was a consequence of that. But eventually, exposure therapy always works. It just sucks to do. But, the only way to basically beat anxiety, not beat it, I don't like to say beat it, but build that relationship with anxiety is to be uncomfortable. And I'm finding that for me, doing it every single day, whether, I'm pushing the 7, pushing the 5, just be uncomfortable a little bit. But don't go past that 8 because that's when the panic attacks come and we don't want the panic attacks.
No, we don't.
No one wants that.
Yeah.
Because some people use it as like a badge of honor, like, I went to work today even though I had a panic attack. It's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll see how you go tomorrow because you're going to have another panic attack and you're not going to go. Now you're going to be at home for a few days. So, yeah. Exposure therapy, build your relationship with anxiety. I'm really excited for when we actually have a program we can show because we keep saying build a relationship. And we've spoken about how to do so. But if you're new to the podcast and you've heard that, it's sort of a weird thing to be told because no one ever said, everyone just says, you got to beat anxiety. You got to get through anxiety. Anxiety's bad.
You've got to medicate anxiety.
You don't have to do.
Suppress it. Don't acknowledge it. But that's the opposite of the effective treatment of it, I guess.
Yeah, I would probably be careful about talking about medication.
Oh, okay, my bad.
No, I'm just saying that for someone out there that, has tried all of this and it's still not working because, I use medication and I do all this.
I guess maybe what I was trying to say is that it's not the be all and end all.
No, it's not a quick fix.
Yeah,
the anxiety. If you just took anxiety medication,
and did nothing else,
then it's not going to improve. It could honestly get worse because you'll be disheartened because now the medication's not working.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, that's why we're talking about anxiety, and you're just. Yeah, it's fine to be naive. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm naive when it comes to, your diabetes.
Yeah.
But, being intrigued by it is where the good conversation comes from. But definitely, on medication, it's a tool, basically.
Yeah.
It's just a tool.
One of the tools.
It's just one of the tools, if needed. And then the other one is fun if you want to give it a crack, because I know psychologists and counsellors and... if you see a GP, they can all be booked out for, a few weeks, a month. So try to find the source of where it started itself. So for me, it took a little while to go back to, okay, the panic attack in that shopping centre was where it started. But then I was like, no, that's just a blanket for how this all started. So I go back a little further and it's like, okay, COVID lockdown maybe. And it's like, all right, well, where in COVID lockdown? Why? And how can I avoid it? How can I get out of it? And that sort of really helped me. Because I think being able to rationalise anxiety is massive because you just can't. Anxiety, you saw it Inside Out too. Imagine trying to rationalise it. It took to the end of the movie too.
Yeah, exactly.
And they didn't even do it then. So, yeah, that's my, how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
5 tips. I think, because agoraphobia is scary and no one talks about it. So I think, it was good.
Yeah, I like that. Just one thing that I wanted to add on to when you said find the source of where it started. I just wanted to say that Jacob is very, very good at, you can do all of that in your mind. You can think things through and kind of backtrack and do all of that internally. But don't be afraid to actually put pen to paper and even draw a bit of a map so that you can actually get it out of your head and see the map of, oh, okay, this is where I can backtrack to see where things started. Sometimes that visual key is handy for some people and some others can just think it through. I'm on the side where I need a visual and I need to, journal things out rather than think things out. So I just wanted to put that idea out there.
Yeah, it's a cool idea. I like that. Like, yeah, do whatever you need to because, anxiety is personal for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, what I say might work, but it might not work. So that's why, you need to either really study it yourself or that's why seeing someone is so handy because they can sort of cater technique toward your specific scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like
but,
it.
yeah, definitely, like, if you got to draw a map, if you got to draw... And it's not just COVID, it could be anything. You could have got fired from a job and now you're terrified to go back to work. Or, you could have had a sporting injury and now you're terrified to play sport, but you love sport. So you're in this weird rift with yourself. So just anything like that. Like you can always go back and try to dig deeper. And I remember at university as quickly, because I know we've got to wrap it up. At university we had that assignment of, we've really delved into the why, and just go down 10 whys of, why did this occur? And, if you really, if you're in a good state, then you'll be able to really...
Delve in.
Yeah, delve into it properly.
No, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you. Do you have anything else to add? Or?
No.
No.
Sorry, I've got...
Well, are you ready then for my checkout question?
Yeah, we'll do more agoraphobia in the future. This was just the...
Little intro.
The little intro to it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
My checkout question.
Yeah.
It's a bit odd. It's a bit weird.
Cool.
If you could hang out in an organ and see how it operates and works, what organ would you hang out in?
Oh, that's disgusting.
Do you want my answer?
Yeah.
I'd love to hang out in my eyeball.
Why?
Because it would be really interesting to see...
That's gross.
How the inside works. I had an eye test, or I have to have regular eye tests with my diabetes, and just seeing the scans and seeing how an eyeball works and operates and what I have to look out for being a type 1 diabetic was really cool. So I would hang out in my eyeball.
Oh, that's hot.
Thanks so much.
Oh, God. I've never, ever thought about this. I'll go a little bit off topic.
Yeah.
I'll go the heart. Purely because... No, not romantic at all. It's not romantic at all, trust me. Only because recently I saw, and I've been researching a little bit, but microplastics have been found in heart valves.
Yes, this is Jacob's passion at the moment.
No, microplastics, man. Have a look at it. But it's been found in people's heart valves, and then they're at high risk of, obviously, death. And I think obesity, when obese people die, when they cut open the valve, so this is gross, there's high dosages. Dosages. It just sounds like a funny word to say. Of microplastics. So I'd want to get in my heart and clear those things out if they're there.
Yeah, okay.
Don't drink out of plastic water bottles.
Yeah. Good to know.
Don't. Yeah, I think we should do a podcast on that actually.
What?
Not relevant to
this, but a passion piece
anxiety,
of Jacob's
confidence, no. But a passion piece.
Microplastics.
I think my current OCD
obsession is microplastics.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, thanks for sharing.
That's all good. Thank you for your question. That was a fun question.
Oh, thanks. Yay. I passed the Jacob fun test.
To sleep for 3 hours.
Yes. Amazing. Well, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening or day or morning, wherever you're listening to this from. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.